Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're taking a deep dive into something pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, as it's more commonly known.
Right.
Now, you sent over some really interesting materials on this, and
Yes.
we're going to try to unpack like the most valuable insights
Yeah.
for you today. And one of the things that really struck me from the get-go
Uh,
is CBT. It's not just about feeling better.
right.
It's about understanding why we feel the way we do.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
having that self-awareness of, how your thoughts and your feelings and your
Right.
behaviors are all interlinked.
Yeah, and CBT doesn't look at them as separate things. It looks at the connections between them,
Exactly.
like in how they.
Yeah. It's a triangle. Like
Yeah.
if you change one point, the whole triangle
Yeah.
changes.
That's such a good analogy.
Yeah.
Because it is like that. It's like one impacts the other. So,
Yeah.
let's say you are feeling anxious about a presentation at
Yeah.
work.
Mm-hmm.
CBT wouldn't just say, okay, let's try to calm you down.
Right.
In this moment, it would look at the thoughts
Exactly.
that are feeding that anxiety. Yeah.
What's the thought behind that anxiety?
Yeah, what if I mess up?
Yeah.
What if everyone judges me and then.
And then how is that impacting your behavior?
Right.
Are you not preparing because you're having those
Right.
anxious thoughts?
It's not just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Exactly.
It's like going to the root of the cause.
The root.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is often these negative thought patterns.
Yes, and that's where cognitive restructuring comes in.
Right.
That's the process of taking that thought, I'm going to mess up, and changing it
Yes.
into a more balanced thought. Like,
Yeah.
I've prepared well.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best.
Yeah.
Even if I make a mistake,
Yeah.
it's not the end of the world,
Exactly.
and that will then impact your behavior and you'll be more likely to practice.
Yes, and seek feedback maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a ripple effect.
A ripple effect. But before we even get into the specific techniques.
It's helpful to just sort of have like a solid foundation in CBT. And
Yeah.
this source material mentions 10 core concepts
Yeah.
of CBT.
Let's hear it.
Let's unpack those. The first one, and it's really crucial, especially if you're just starting out with CDT,
Okay.
is psychoeducation.
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 That sounds a little intimidating.
It sounds intimidating,
Hmm.
but it's actually very simple. It's essentially learning how your mind works,
Okay. Yeah.
and especially how your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are all connected.
Okay.
It's like getting a user's manual for your own brain.
Oh, so it's like that aha moment where you realize,
Yes.
oh, that's why I always react this way.
Yes,
Okay.
in certain situations.
Got it.
And a big part of psychoeducation is learning about common cognitive distortions.
Cognitive distortions. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
These are like the little sneaky
Yeah.
thinking traps we fall into, right?
Thinking traps that we all have.
Okay.
Like all or nothing thinking, like, if I don't get this promotion, I'm a complete failure.
Yeah, or I messed up this one project.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at my job.
Yes. Overgeneralizing. Exactly.
Well, filtering out all the positive
Yeah.
and just focusing on the negative.
Yes.
Oh, I do that one a lot.
You get amazing feedback on a presentation,
Yeah.
but you focus on that one tiny little
Yes.
criticism that someone gave you.
Yeah.
And that just ruins your whole day.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so it's about learning to recognize those distortions so you can challenge them.
Okay.
But psychoeducation isn't just about identifying these thinking traps.
Okay.
It also helps you understand how these distortions are rooted in deeper core beliefs.
Core beliefs.
Core beliefs.
Tell me more.
So these are those fundamental beliefs that we have about ourselves, other people, and the world.
Okay.
And they develop over time, stemming often from early life experiences.
Okay.
And they really shape how we interpret everything that happens to us.
Okay, so if someone has a core belief that they're not good enough,
Yeah.
they might constantly seek validation from
themselves.
others or self-sabotage.
Totally. Or procrastinate
Yeah.
because they're scared of failing.
Right.
And these beliefs, they can be so deeply ingrained, we don't even realize.
Now.
They're driving our thoughts and behaviors.
So psychoeducation is helping bring those to the surface.
Bringing them to the surface so that you can start to examine them
Yeah.
and see if they're really serving you.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like you're not just passively accepting your thoughts and feelings.
Right.
You're actively engaging with them and trying to understand them.
Exactly. And that's what makes CBT so powerful.
Yeah.
It gives you the tools to be an active participant
Yes.
in your own mental well-being.
Okay, so psychoeducation is like setting the stage
Setting the stage.
for the rest of the CBT process.
Yeah.
It's like laying the foundation of the house.
Yes. Great analogy.
You can't start building.
You can't build a house without a foundation.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about psychoeducation.
Yeah.
So what's next in these 10 core concepts?
Well, let's see. Oh, this one looks interesting. Cognitive restructuring.
Ooh.
Sounds pretty intense.
Yeah.
What?
It's challenging, but also incredibly rewarding.
Okay.
So remember those cognitive distortions we were just
Yeah.
discussing?
Yeah.
Cognitive restructuring is all about learning to challenge those unhelpful thoughts
Okay.
and replace them with more balanced and realistic ones.
So it's like mental weightlifting for your thoughts.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Mental weightlifting, it's about building that muscle
Right.
of recognizing those automatic negative thoughts
Yeah.
and then consciously choosing to reframe them.
Okay. So instead of thinking I'm a failure because I didn't get that promotion,
Yeah.
you might say to yourself, okay, well, this just wasn't the right opportunity. For
Yeah.
me right now, there'll be other chances.
For maybe it wasn't a good fit,
Yeah.
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's about shifting your perspective from negativity and self-criticism
Right.
to a more balanced and compassionate viewpoint.
Yeah. It's not just about,
But it's not just about positive thinking.
okay.
It's about being realistic.
Realistic. Okay.
So I guess like acknowledging the negative thought.
Acknowledge it, but then question it.
Yeah.
Is it really true?
Yeah.
What's the evidence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For and against this thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like be a detective of your own mind.
I like that, becoming a detective.
Yeah.
Of your own mind.
Yeah. And as you practice this, it becomes more automatic.
Wow. Yeah.
Like any muscle, you're building a mental muscle.
This is so cool. So we've got psychoeducation, where you're learning how your mind works.
Yes.
Then you've got cognitive restructuring, where you start flexing that mental muscle.
Exactly.
To challenge those unhelpful thoughts.
Yes, you're catching on quickly.
Okay, good.
And these two concepts, psychoeducation and cognitive restructuring,
Yeah.
they really work together to lay the foundation for all the other techniques we're going to talk about with CBT.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But before we dive into the rest of the concepts.
Maybe let's take a closer look at some of those sneaky
Yes. Look at
cognitive distortions you mentioned.
Let's expose them.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think that's something that could help us all.
For sure.
Okay.
Right.
Hit me with some of the most common ones.
Let's do it.
I'm ready to start calling them out.
Okay. So we talked about all or nothing thinking.
Yeah.
Right, where it's like black or white,
Yeah.
no gray area.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another one that's super common.
Okay.
Overgeneralization.
Oh, overgeneralization. I know this one.
Uh-huh.
It's like when I spill my coffee and I'm like, see,
Yes.
I always mess everything up.
Always. You take one isolated event
Right.
and it becomes this sweeping conclusion
Yeah.
about yourself.
Oh, totally guilty of that one.
Yeah. What else? Mental filtering.
Mental filtering.
This is a big one. This is where you basically have these negativity goggles on.
Okay.
You only see the bad stuff
Yeah.
and you completely ignore all the good stuff.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me of this one friend who like got this amazing feedback on a project,
Yes.
but there was this one tiny little criticism and they just fixated on that and it ruined the whole experience.
Classic mental filtering.
Yeah.
They took that one little thing,
Yeah.
blew it out of proportion, and ignored all the positive.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we've got all or nothing thinking,
Uh-huh.
overgeneralization, mental filtering.
Yes.
Okay, what other distortions are lurking out there?
Jumping to conclusions.
Jumping to conclusion.
This is a biggie. This one has two flavors.
Okay.
Mind reading and fortune telling.
Mind reading.
And reading.
Like I suddenly have psychic powers.
Well, not quite, but it's like you think you know what other people are thinking without any evidence. So like
Okay.
your coworker's really quiet. You're like, oh my God, they hate me.
They're mad at me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or they think I'm stupid.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's just like making up these stories in your head.
Okay, so I'm creating a narrative
Creating a narrative.
that may or may not
May or may not.
be true.
Right.
And fortune telling is what?
Fortune telling is when you're predicting the future.
Oh.
And usually negative, you know?
Okay.
It's like, I'm going to bomb this interview.
Right, or this relationship is doomed to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up.
Yeah, like you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah. And it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got 5 cognitive distortions.
Okay.
I'm starting to see how sneaky these can be.
Yeah. Sneaky little buggers.
What else do we need to watch out for?
Magnification and minimization.
Magnification and minimization.
This is another common duo.
Okay.
And it's basically you're looking at your experiences through this distorted lens.
Okay.
You magnify the negative and you minimize the positive.
Like one of those funhouse mirrors
Yes.
at a carnival.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for your thoughts.
For my thoughts. Oh, I like that analogy.
I'm glad.
Yeah, it makes it more relatable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because these things can be
Yeah.
hard to grasp sometimes.
Well, and if we can laugh at it a little bit, maybe it'll
Take away some of the power.
take away some of that power. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so magnification and minimization,
Hmm?
numbers 6 and 7.
Yes.
What else is on this list of cognitive contortionists?
Emotional reasoning.
Emotional reasoning.
This one's a tricky one.
Okay.
This is where you let your feelings dictate reality.
Okay.
So it's like, I feel anxious, therefore this situation must be dangerous.
Right.
I feel inadequate, therefore I must be a failure.
Ooh, that's a dangerous one.
Yeah.
I've definitely fallen into that
Yeah.
trap
Yeah.
before. It's like forgetting that feelings are temporary.
Yes.
They don't always reflect the truth.
Exactly. And feelings are valuable information,
Yes.
but they're not always accurate reflections of reality.
Okay, so we need to be mindful of those feelings,
Yes.
but not let them totally run the show.
Run the show. Yes.
Okay, what's next?
Should have stayed.
Should statements.
Those rigid expectations
The word.
we put on ourselves and others.
I should be more productive. They should
Correctly.
never make mistakes.
The world should be fair.
The world should be fair.
Right. And guess what? Those should statements often lead to guilt,
Yeah.
frustration, resentment.
Okay, so instead of shoulding all over ourselves,
Yes.
maybe we need to embrace a little bit more.
Flexibility
Yeah.
and acceptance.
Acceptance.
Challenge those rigid rules
Okay.
and see what happens.
Should statements, duly noted.
Okay, good.
We're getting close to the end here, right?
We are.
What's next?
Labeling.
Labeling.
This is where we slap these negative labels on
Yeah.
ourselves and others.
Oh, like I'm such an idiot.
Yeah, or he's such a jerk.
Yeah.
You know, these labels can be so limiting. You're taking this complex human being
Right.
and you're reducing them down to this one
Yeah.
negative characteristic.
Like putting them in a box.
Putting them in a box.
Yeah. And forgetting that we're all like
Multifaceted.
multifaceted.
Capable of growth.
Yeah.
You know, and then lastly,
Oh, hey, the grand finale.
personalization.
Personalization. What is that all about?
This is where you take responsibility for things that are outside of your control.
Okay.
Or you blame yourself
Right.
for other people's actions.
So if my friend is in a bad mood,
Yes.
I might assume that it's because of me,
It's your fault,
even if it has nothing to do with me.
even though it has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
Or, you know, a project fails and you're like,
Yeah.
it's all my fault, even though it was a team effort.
Wow. This list is eye-opening.
Yes.
I can see how these distortions can really mess with our thinking.
Yes.
And create a lot of unnecessary suffering.
They're powerful.
Yeah.
But the good news is,
Okay.
once you're aware of them,
Yeah.
you can start to challenge them.
Okay, so we've identified the enemy,
We have.
these cognitive distortions, but what's the battle plan?
Okay.
How do we fight back?
That's where cognitive restructuring comes in.
Okay.
Remember, we talked about that.
Yeah.
This is the process of learning to identify these distortions
Mm-hmm.
in real time,
Okay.
question their validity,
Right.
and then replace them with more balanced
Okay.
and helpful thoughts.
So it's not about suppressing the thought entirely.
Not suppressing, no.
It's about becoming aware of it
Awareness.
and choosing to engage with it
Yes.
differently.
Exactly.
Okay.
And remember, this takes practice.
Okay.
Your
Oh.
brain has been running these thought patterns
Yeah.
for a long time.
Right.
So it takes time and effort.
It's like learning a new language.
Yes.
Right? It's awkward at first.
It's awkward and clumsy,
But with practice,
but with practice,
it becomes more natural.
more natural. And the more you practice, the more you'll start to see these distortions
Yeah.
for what they, just thoughts, not facts.
Oh, I like that. Just thoughts, not facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we often believe our thoughts.
Right, like they're the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, this is so empowering.
It is.
It's like you're taking back control
You're taking control.
of your own mind.
Yeah.
But how do you actually put this into practice?
Yeah.
Like, what are some specific techniques for
Yeah.
cognitive restructuring?
So one technique that's often used is called thought records.
Thought records.
Thought records.
Okay.
And it's a very simple but powerful tool
Okay.
for examining your thoughts
Yeah.
and challenging their validity.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Okay, so it's basically a journal
Okay.
where you track your negative thoughts.
Yeah.
So you write down the situation,
Uh-huh.
the automatic thought that popped up,
Mm.
how you felt,
Yeah.
and then you start to examine it
So you're getting it out of your head
out of your head and onto paper,
onto paper so you can look at it
where you can analyze it.
more objectively.
More objectively, yes. And then you ask yourself some key questions.
Okay.
What's the evidence for this thought?
Right.
What's the evidence against this thought?
Mm-hmm.
Is it based on facts or feelings?
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
is there another way to look at this situation?
It's like putting your thoughts on trial.
You're the judge.
I am the judge.
and the jury.
And the jury.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm demanding evidence.
You need the evidence.
Yes.
And as you do this, you start to notice patterns in your thinking.
Okay.
You realize, oh, wow, this distortion pops up
Right.
every time I'm in this particular situation.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which can give you clues about maybe some deeper beliefs that are going on.
Yeah, like what's driving that?
What's driving it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is amazing. So you really are becoming a detective.
You're a detective of your own mind. Of your own mind.
I like that.
Yeah. And once you've identified the distortion
Yeah.
and you've challenged it, you can then start to generate
Okay.
alternative thoughts.
More balance.
More balanced and realistic thoughts.
So instead of I'm a failure because I didn't get the promotion,
Yeah.
it's okay. This wasn't the right opportunity for me.
Yeah.
I still have value. I still have things to offer.
And I'm going to learn from this experience.
Yes.
You know,
Exactly.
And then you practice repeating those new thoughts.
Okay.
Even if you don't believe them at first.
Right.
You're basically
Fake it till you make it, kind of.
fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is you're building those new neural pathways.
Wow.
You're rewiring your brain for positivity.
Okay, so you're literally changing the structure
You're changing the structure
of your brain.
of your brain.
That's so cool.
It is pretty cool.
Okay, and the more you do it, the easier it gets.
The easier it gets. Exactly.
So you catch the distortion
Yeah.
quicker and you're able to challenge it
Yeah.
more effectively.
Like a muscle.
Yeah.
The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
It's like building a mental muscle.
A mental muscle, yeah.
This is incredible. So you're taking back control
Yes.
of your thoughts and you're choosing to focus on
Choosing to focus.
what's helpful and what's empowering.
Exactly. That's the power of CBT.
I love it. Okay.
But cognitive restructuring is not the only tool.
Okay.
In the CBT toolbox, we also have behavioral activation.
Okay, behavioral activation.
Behavioral activation.
This sounds like it involves taking action.
It does.
Oh.
Tell me more.
So it's based on this idea that our actions can influence our mood.
Okay.
You know, when we're feeling down or anxious, we tend to withdraw and avoid things.
Right. It's like when you're depressed, you just want to stay in bed
Yes.
and watch Netflix.
Yes, curl up in a ball.
Yeah.
And just avoid the world.
Avoid the world.
But that avoidance often makes things worse.
Right.
So behavioral activation is about breaking that cycle
Okay.
by getting you back into action,
Okay.
even if it's in small ways at first.
So it's like, even if I don't feel like doing it,
Even if you don't feel like it,
just push myself to...
push yourself to do things that make you feel good.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be anything huge. It
Yeah.
could be as simple as going for a walk.
Calling a friend,
Mm-hmm.
listening to your favorite music.
It's like jump-starting your engine.
Yeah.
You know?
Get the juices flowing.
You might not feel like it at first,
Yes.
but once you start moving,
once you get going.
yeah, you get some momentum.
Momentum, exactly. And as you start engaging in those positive activities,
Yeah,
you start to feel better,
right.
which then motivates you to do even more.
Oh, it's like a cycle?
It's a beautiful cycle.
Yeah.
A virtuous cycle.
Okay, I can see how that would work. But what about those times when it feels like
Yes.
you have zero energy?
Yeah. What do you do when you have no energy?
You have zero motivation. How do you even get started?
That's where the structure of behavioral activation comes in.
Okay.
It's not just about randomly doing things.
Right.
It's about creating a plan.
Okay.
A plan.
A plan.
Like a schedule.
Yeah, like a schedule. So you start by identifying your values,
Okay.
what's important to you in life,
Mm-hmm.
and then you set goals that are aligned with those values. So if someone really values connection,
Yes.
their goal might be to like have lunch with a friend once a week
Exactly. Or join a book club.
or join a book club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you break those goals down into smaller, more manageable steps.
Okay, so instead of trying to run a marathon,
Yeah.
start by walking around the block
Start by walking around the block.
a few times.
Yes, exactly. It's all about setting yourself up for success.
Right.
So you don't want to overwhelm yourself.
Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Right.
Start small and then gradually increase.
And each of those little wins
Little wins. Yeah.
will motivate you to keep going.
Exactly. Give you that sense of accomplishment.
Right.
Yeah.
This is starting to sound less intimidating,
Yeah.
more doable, like those video games where
Yeah.
you level up
Level up.
gradually, right?
Yeah.
Each achievement unlocks a new
A new possibility.
a
Exactly.
possibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, so it's not about being perfect.
No, it's not about pushing yourself too hard.
It's about finding a pace that works for you
Yeah.
and celebrating every step forward.
I like, oh, okay. This is really making me think about how I can incorporate this
Yeah.
behavioral activation
Mhm.
into my own life.
Yeah.
What are some other things people can do?
So one helpful tip is to track your mood and activities.
Okay.
You can use a simple journal,
Uh-huh.
or, there are tons of mood tracking apps out there.
Right, so you're noticing patterns.
You're noticing patterns like,
Oh, when I spend time outside, I feel more energized.
exactly.
Or when I isolate myself, my mood takes a nosedive.
Exactly. And then you can use that data to inform your action plan.
Right.
You know,
So I'm becoming a scientist of my own.
you're a scientist of your own well-being.
I like that.
Yeah, and another important aspect of behavioral activation
Yeah, okay.
is problem solving.
Problem solving. Okay, how does that fit into the picture?
So let's say your goal is to go to the gym
Okay.
3 times a week, but your work schedule is making it difficult.
Right.
Okay, behavioral activation would encourage you to brainstorm solutions.
Okay.
Okay, maybe you could find a gym that's closer to work,
Yeah.
or maybe you could work out during your lunch break,
Right.
or adjust your workout schedule to fit your work commitments.
So it's not about giving up when you hit an obstacle.
It's about finding creative solutions.
It's about getting creative.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. And lastly, don't underestimate the power of reinforcement.
Reinforcement, like giving myself a gold star
A gold star
for every
for every achievement.
Yeah.
It sounds silly,
Okay.
but it works.
Okay.
Acknowledge and celebrate your successes no matter how small.
Okay, so I'm not just like checking things off a list. I'm
Yeah.
actually taking a moment to appreciate.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Give yourself credit for showing up and taking action.
Yeah.
It
It reinforces that.
reinforces that positive cycle.
Positive cycle.
Yeah.
Okay, this is so inspiring.
It is.
Okay, so cognitive restructuring is about changing your thoughts.
Uh-huh.
Behavioral activation is about changing your actions.
Your actions, yes.
It's like a powerful combination.
It is a powerful combination, and they really work together
Yeah,
to create lasting change.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But there's another important element of CBT.
Okay.
We need to talk about coping skills.
Coping skills.
Coping skills.
Oh, I feel like I could use a few more of those.
I think we all could, right?
Yeah,
Life is full of stressors, big and small.
it is.
And, coping skills help us navigate those challenges
Yeah.
without getting overwhelmed.
Without getting completely overwhelmed.
Yeah, so what kind of coping skills are we talking about here?
So CBT offers a whole toolbox
Okay.
of techniques.
Yeah.
And the beauty is
Okay.
you can tailor them to your individual needs and preferences.
Okay, spill the beans.
Okay.
What are some of the most effective ones?
All right. So deep breathing.
Deep breathing.
Classic for a reason.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah.
It's effective.
Yeah.
You can do it anywhere.
Right, when I'm stressed, sometimes I forget to even breathe
Exactly.
properly. It's
Yeah.
like,
It happens.
yeah,
But just taking a few deep breaths can really
yeah,
shift your physiology
yeah.
and calm down your nervous system.
Okay, deep breathing. Check what else is in this toolbox.
Progressive muscle relaxation.
Progressive muscle relaxation.
This is another great one.
Okay.
So it involves systematically tensing and relaxing
Okay.
different muscle groups in your body.
Okay.
And this helps to release physical tension
Mm-hmm.
and promote relaxation.
It's like giving yourself a mini massage.
It's like a mini massage.
Right.
And it's especially helpful for people who hold a lot of tension
Right.
in their bodies.
Okay, we've talked about mindfulness, but I'm guessing that's a
Yeah.
key coping skill.
Mindfulness is huge.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating that present moment awareness
Right.
without judgment.
Noticing your thoughts, feelings,
Yes.
bodily sensations without getting swept away
Without getting swept away.
by them.
Yeah. And when you're struggling with anxiety,
Yeah.
this can be so powerful.
Okay, how so?
Because anxiety is often about, worrying about the future
Yeah.
or dwelling on the past.
Right.
And mindfulness helps to break free
Okay.
from that cycle of rumination
Yeah.
by bringing your attention back to the present moment.
Okay.
So you're grounding yourself,
Yeah, it's like grounding yourself in the here and now.
the here and now,
Yeah.
instead of getting lost
Yeah.
in those thought spirals.
Okay. And when you do that, you create a space
Yes.
between yourself and those anxious thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
So instead of feeling like I am my anxiety,
Yes.
I can kind of observe it
Observe it.
with a little bit more distance.
Yes, with a little bit more distance and without judgment.
Without judgment. This is powerful stuff.
It is powerful.
Okay, but what are some specific ways that people can practice this?
Yeah.
Mindfulness for anxiety.
So meditation is a great place to start. There are tons of guided meditations
Yeah.
available online or through apps specifically for anxiety.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, a long, drawn-out practice.
Right.
Even just a few minutes
Yeah.
a day can make a difference.
Okay, and another one that's helpful I've heard is the body scan meditation.
Body scan meditation.
What is that?
So this involves systematically bringing your attention
Yeah.
to different parts of your body,
Yeah.
noticing any sensations without judgment.
Okay.
So you might start with your toes,
Right.
Notice any tingling or tightness,
Yeah.
and then you gradually move up your body,
Ugh.
just paying attention to each sensation as you go.
And so as I do that, I might start to notice that, oh, I'm holding a lot of tension
You're holding tension.
in my shoulders
Is your shoulders.
that I didn't even realize.
That you didn't even realize.
And then that awareness allows me to release it.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's like you're giving yourself a mental and physical check-in, and you become more attuned to your body's signals.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so mindfulness, it's like a superpower
It is.
that we all have access to,
Uh-huh.
but we often forget to use.
We forget to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and the more you practice,
Yeah.
the more readily available it
The
is.
more readily available it is.
Yeah, right.
You can tap into that superpower whenever you need it.
Oh, this is so fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation,
Uh-huh.
mindfulness.
Yes.
Okay, what other coping skills should we?
Don't underestimate the power of exercise.
Oh, I know that one.
Huh.
When I'm feeling stressed,
Yeah.
a good workout really helps me
Yes.
clear my head.
It's not just about the physical benefits.
Okay.
Exercise releases endorphins,
Right.
which has mood-boosting effects,
Yeah.
and it's just a great way to channel that nervous energy.
Right. And it doesn't have to be anything super intense.
No, it could be, going for a walk,
Yeah.
dancing,
Yeah. Yoga.
yoga, gardening,
Garden.
whatever gets you moving.
Whatever gets you moving.
Find something you enjoy
Right.
and make it a regular part of your routine.
And while we're on the topic of healthy habits,
Yes.
sleep hygiene.
Sleep hygiene.
That sounds a little technical.
It sounds a little technical.
What does it mean?
It's basically about creating a sleep-friendly environment
Okay.
and establishing those healthy sleep habits.
So like making sure your bedroom is dark and quiet.
Yes.
Avoiding caffeine
Yes.
before bed.
Yes.
Sticking to a consistent sleep schedule.
A consistent sleep schedule, yes.
Even on the weekends.
Even on the weekends.
Okay. It sounds simple.
It sounds simple, but it's
It is.
powerful.
It's powerful.
Yeah, quality sleep is essential.
I know. When I get good sleep,
Yeah,
I feel so much more resilient.
absolutely.
Okay. So we've got exercise,
Yes.
sleep hygiene.
Yes.
What else is on our coping skills checklist?
Social support.
Social support.
Connecting with loved ones. Friends, family support groups.
It's so important to have people you can talk to and share your burdens with
Yes, you don't have to go through this alone.
and get support from.
Get support, exactly.
Yeah, and don't forget about hobbies and interests.
Hobbies and interests are so
But
important.
I'm feeling down. Sometimes the best thing I can do
Yeah.
is just like lose myself in a good book
Yeah.
or a creative project or something that brings me joy.
Find things that bring you joy.
Yeah.
Engage in activities that you're passionate about.
Exactly.
And that helps to recharge your batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of shifting your focus,
Yes.
distraction.
Distraction can be a helpful coping mechanism.
Like binge watching a show
It could be.
or scrolling through social media.
It could be. But ideally,
Okay.
you want to choose distractions that are engaging
Right.
and enjoyable
Okay.
rather than ones that leave you feeling kind of drained
Yeah.
or more stressed.
Okay.
So, maybe playing a game or listening to music,
Yeah.
learning something new.
Yeah.
Find activities that really absorb your attention
Right.
and take you away from your worries.
Take a break from those worries.
Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of processing those emotions, journaling can be really helpful.
Journaling is such a great tool.
I love journaling.
Yeah, it helps you get those thoughts and feelings out of your head
Yeah.
onto paper.
Onto paper.
You can process your emotions. You can gain insights.
Yeah.
You could track your progress over time.
It's like a safe space to
It-
just let it all out.
let it all out
Yeah.
without judgment.
Okay. And we talked about problem solving,
Yes.
but I'm guessing that that's a key coping skill as well.
Problem solving is huge.
Right.
When you're facing a challenge,
Yeah.
breaking it down into smaller steps.
Yeah. This deep dive into CBT has been quite a revelation. It's amazing how many tools and techniques there are to manage our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It feels like we've only scratched the surface, though. What other CBT gems are waiting to be discovered?
Well, we've covered some powerful ground, but there are a few more key concepts that are worth exploring. One that's particularly interesting is the idea of schemas.
Schemas. Okay, that's a new one for me. What are schemas, and how do they fit into CBT?
Think of schemas as those deeply ingrained patterns of thinking and behaving that we develop over time. They're like those mental frameworks we use to make sense of the world.
So they're kind of like those core beliefs we talked about earlier, but maybe even broader in scope.
Exactly. Schemas can encompass our beliefs about ourselves, others, and the world, and they can be positive, negative, or neutral. But the ones that often causes trouble are the negative schemas, which can lead to all sorts of problems in our lives.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this connects to CBT. If negative schemas are driving those unhelpful thoughts and behaviors, then it makes sense to address them.
Precisely. And schema therapy, which is an offshoot of CBT, focuses specifically on identifying and modifying those negative schemas.
So it's like digging even deeper, getting to the root of those core beliefs and patterns that are holding us back.
That's a great way to put it. Schema therapy often involves techniques like imagery rescripting and chair work.
Imagery rescripting and chair work. Okay, those sound intriguing. Can you explain what those techniques involve?
Imagine you have a negative schema that stems from a childhood experience. Maybe you were constantly criticized and told you weren't good enough. Imagery rescripting involves revisiting that memory in your imagination and creating a new, more positive ending.
So it's like rewriting the script of your past.
Exactly. And chair work involves using two chairs to represent different parts of yourself, maybe the critical voice and the compassionate voice. You sit in each chair and have a dialogue between those different parts of yourself, which can help you gain insights and develop more self-compassion.
This is amazing. It's like you're taking those abstract concepts and bringing them to life through these experiential techniques.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that makes CBT so powerful. It's not just about talking about your problems. It's about actively engaging with them and creating new experiences that can lead to lasting change.
I'm starting to see how all these different elements of CBT, from cognitive restructuring and behavioral activation to schema therapy and mindfulness, work together to create a holistic approach to mental well-being.
They do.
Yeah.
And it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. CBT is about finding the tools and techniques that resonate with you and tailoring them to your individual needs and goals.
Right. It's about empowering yourself to become an active participant in your own healing and growth.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. A therapist can guide you through this process, help you develop personalized strategies, and provide support every step of the way.
This deep dive has been incredibly enlightening. I'm feeling so inspired by the possibilities of CBT. It's like you're not just stuck with your thoughts and feelings, you have the power to change them.
That's the beauty of CBT. It's about empowerment, self-discovery, and creating a life that feels more fulfilling and meaningful.
It's been an incredible journey, and I'm so grateful for your
The
insights.
pleasure was all mine.
And to our listener, thank you for joining us on this exploration of CBT. We hope you've gained some valuable tools and techniques to enhance your own mental well-being. Remember, change is possible, and you have the power to create a life that feels more aligned with your values and goals. Until next time on The Deep Dive.